I'm Dr. Evil. Now what I'd like to talk about is a little more about putting all these small pieces together and how that relates to the dilemma between doing stuff versus communicating doing it. There's that saying that if you teach a person to fish, of course they'll have enough to eat for a lifetime, unless they're in a sea of sloppy, polluted fish that are bones, then they will die. But besides that, when you are seeking to empower others with knowledge, it's important that you help them, but that they can do part of the legwork. Like, for example, anyone should be able to go into Google and search for something. If someone's too lazy to Google it, they'll be too lazy for bigger things. That's all part of psychological questions, which I bring up. Like, for example, you just ask someone, very, very easy example, you Google it, check it up, do your own research, and give them the tools, show them how to use it, make tutorials, I like that, but never give all the answers. Someone like myself, like yourself, will learn even through it's hard. If even in actuality, if the answer wasn't all that good, you still had to battle to find it. You'll still hang on to something. And it's a sort of funny thing. I think I've read scientific studies about how people are more reluctant to lose something than they are to gain something. And that includes money or a home or whatever it might be. And it's especially relevant in the tough economy right now. And especially important that we always be resourceful. Not just in a MacGyver way, although he's a very, very smart guy, that Richard Dean Anderson, but in your own life, anything you can do to chop the slot. Because the time you spend wasting with other people who are contributing nothing to your life could be better put if you're creating, if you're making something, if you're writing a blog post, if you're making a song, if you're rocking out on the internet making videos like I am. Because I really wanted to share this for a while, and I'm so thankful that I've had the opportunity to, and I hope to do more. All these sorts of things really come together. There's a lot of unifying strands. And so back to the original root question, before we get on too much of a tangent. When is communicating too much? Well, that's the funny thing, because it's always a dynamic balance, and some people, they need to have their hands held more than others. That's not necessarily bad, that's just who they are. They can learn out of it, they can learn into it, that's how it is. But I often think that as long as I prompt what are the most important highlights, and to look for the quickest ways to do that. For example, I like Twitter very much, just very 140 character or less updates. Very prompt way to say what's going on with me. And even if you can't explain the full story right now, just to ping and send out a message, say, I'm going to do a blog post on this later, or here's why I can't explain it if it's much too long, and just look for quick executive summaries, like they say, whenever possible. Summarizing is an important skill to have. Compiling is an incredibly important skill to have. Again, it ties into knowing all these connections, these disparate things which don't seem related or relevant, and putting them together. If you can compile, if you can put together a mixed CD with your favorite artist and blend it together even better, then that is a formidable talent. If you are a comic book artist who can cross over different characters, even from universes that seemed irreconcilable, that is a fantastic skill. If you can be a dungeon master of role-playing games, and some people say, that sounds silly, what does it have to do? Everything. If you can manage a campaign like that, you can pull together different resources which may reflect excellently on your professional life, on your personal life. There are so many parallels. And I think that's a key thing, to never, ever be dismissive of those connections. As tenuous as they may seem, or as tentative as they may be at other times, putting that together, running with it, doing lots of cheap, lightweight experiments, as I like to say, with communication, seeing what works, like Twitter. I've grown to love it so much because I get great responses. You may not, that's okay. There are many, many tools. Like I said earlier today, all these social media tools, they're like flavors of ice cream. There's many to choose from, but you're bound to have favorites. So always be looking for that. Always be looking, use stuff, try it out. If it doesn't work, just drop it. Don't ever be pressured to stay with a tool because of peer pressure. Those are the wrong peers to have. You want to have something that from your inside you can earnestly feel and show the results empirically, demonstrably, that it works, that it plays, that you enjoy it, and that brings good to your life and to the lives of others. Make those connections.